Welcome everyone to our latest presentation here on Assistive Touch. Today's presentation is done by Dave Dunham and Jerry Feliz, going over low vision settings for Microsoft.
This is Dave Dunham here today with Jerry Feliz, and we're going to review and demonstrate low vision settings on the Windows computer. We call it low vision settings. Those would be settings for those who are visually impaired, but still can use some adjustments on the screen to help with the vision impairment. So one of the applications we have we'll be providing today.
I'm going to go over some key concepts for how to use magnification, some best practices, and I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. As we get the share screen here. All right, we have a document that we're going to magnify to make it easier to read. So this is a 6-page document, side-by-side book format in Microsoft Word.
Okay, so I'm going to magnify to 2x, Dave.
All right, so we're magnifying to 2x. Now the 2x magnification actually has the effect of taking one page of view and essentially placing it on 4 pages. So that's how it works with imagery. It's a 2-dimensional magnification. So if you go to the side to side on the screen, you'll see one screen here to the left, one screen here to the right. Then if you go down to the lower left, it's another screen, or another page in this case. And then to the lower right is another screen. And that's how 2x magnification works.
So
for
when we do 2x, that means 4 pages that are being taken up at a time. Is that right?
That's correct. So what would be in one view is now on 4 views. Now, if you go to 3x, which we can demonstrate here, but we don't have the division of this yet, you run into 9 times of the magnification level. And then 4x would be 16 times. So,
and this is what that would look like. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll get us to 4x, and this is what that looks like. You see that you're losing more real estate. You get more of the information, more detail, but you're losing more context the larger you magnify.
Yes. So as we move to this, so you at 4x you have 16 pages or 16 screens of information representing what at 1x would be 1 screen of information. So you can see there is some greater difficulty moving around, and it depends on the eye condition that would affect your choice on this. If there is a field vision issue or visual field issue, you may choose not to go to 4x at some point.
Okay, so this is the exercise that we typically run. All right, so I'm going to just go to the desktop here, and this is one practical way to start using your magnifier. And then we'll get into the different ways that people use it and the different visual acuities too. So I'm going to just do a Windows D. We're home. There's no magnification. One way to orient yourself around how to use the full-blown magnifier, because this is what we call comprehensive magnification. You would do a Windows plus. And now, based on the previous example that Dave was guiding us through, this is taking up a lot of room, right? So let's see what level of magnification we're on. All right, right now we're at 4x. So that means we're looking at 16 pages
in 1 page.
In 1 page, 16 pages in 1 page, okay? just to kind of convey an idea, right? And I'm gonna minimize this. Now, to orient yourself around this, a good way to do it, if you haven't used magnification, is we zoom in for detail, we zoom out for context, right?
Okay.
But to navigate, we go to the top left corner. So we're getting familiar with our space. We go to the top right-hand corner, and we're getting familiar with our icons. Bottom right-hand corner, that's a bit of the taskbar. Bottom left-hand corner, that's a little bit of the taskbar on the left-hand side. And then we just go to center, because when you are magnified at this level, you do lose perspective.
Best ways to magnify.
So resuming here, we're going to talk about 3 points related to how to magnify. So there's 3 ways to magnify. You can increase the size of text, which that's pretty simple. If you want to increase your font size, that's one good way to better read a document that you're having difficulty seeing. So you want to increase it from 12 font to 30 font or 40 or 50. Obviously, you lose some of the page in a sense, but it stays within the boundaries and you can read it and access it. That's one way to magnify text. The other way is full screen magnification, which we just reviewed. That increases everything on the screen, including your actionable buttons, so things on the toolbar, etc., which Dave's going to go into in a little bit. And then the last way, which Dave's going to do right now, is display magnification. Or display scaling. Sorry, display scaling is what we're going to cover next. So we're going to do this on the browser.
Okay, so we head to the browser, and you'll notice that at the top of the screen, you have your various taskbars related to the browser. And at the bottom of the screen, there should be your taskbar related to your Windows operating system, whatever items you put on the taskbar. For scaling will not change the taskbar items. It will only change everything that's within what I'll call the message body or the website body. In this case, we have the website boston.com, and this is at 100% or 1x right now. And we're going to scale it up, and that's done. So magnification is done with the Windows plus and Windows minus. Scaling is done with the Control plus and Control minus keys. Or it can also be done with Control and the mouse wheel up and down. So let's try to go to 2x on this for scaling.
So it's Control plus once, that's 110, 125. And let me click on it because it's not working. So 110, 125, 150, 175, and 200. And I'll double check it on the top right to make sure we're at the right. Here I'm using a combination of magnification. Yep, and it's full screen magnification and scaling. I'm going to exit out of full screen magnification. And this is at 200 times, Dave.
Okay, so this is 2x. And it still has the same phenomenon as we mentioned in magnification, with 2x would theoretically show 1 page of information on 4 screens. However, in this case, you have a little more real estate in your text area or your website area, because it's kept the taskbar areas at the same scale or same size as originally. So the taskbar is at 1x, but Boston.com here is at 2x. So now let's show that. Good.
So taskbar or menu bar at the top are kept the same.
Yes. Whereas the website itself, in this case, magnifies to 2x. That's called scaling. So let's go to 3x.
Okay. One other note, this website does have responsive web design so that the text wraps around how it's increasing and it doesn't leak out, at least not at 200%. I don't think it's supported all around, but I'll go to 300% now. So Control plus, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're at 300 times.
So there's 3x, which would be equivalent to one screen represented on 9 screens. And you can see the dramatic difference between 2x and 3x. And of course, where we began at 1x. So this sort of demonstrates the difference in how the scaling affects. The scaling will appear a little bit more dramatically because you're actually using more of this, you're still using more of the screen for the website content in this case than you would be at the same magnification level, because at a higher magnification level, your taskbar above or your menu bars would be also equally increased, and that would use up some of your real estate. So,
and this is not functional at all. I can't move right now. I'm trying to scroll the Boston, the text there, the image is sort of leaking into the text.
So this is what happens with scaling versus magnification. So at some level, maybe magnification works better. But keep in mind, a lot of your screen real estate will be taken up by magnification of the menu bar.
So this is at 200%, and here this is much more functional. I can move around better, and the text is appearing. If I open up a specific article, let's go to the real estate page. And this is information on specific articles. I'll click on that. Let me exit out of this advertising here. I can find it. Oh, it's on the top left corner. Okay, I had to zoom in with full-blown magnification. Okay, here we go. Here's the article. I'm just gonna zoom in a couple of times. Yeah, no, still same issue that we had earlier. So it's really at 200 to 225 where it's still functional, and you can easily use it.
If we want to compare magnification, you could go back out to 1x and then magnify it to 3x and see what happens with the text.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner. Again, I'm using a combination here of full screen magnification, which is Windows Plus, to get here. So I can access the toolbar area, which is what this is. I'm going to zoom out to 100 on the website itself, and this is what it would look like zoomed in with full screen magnification. I'm going to zoom out so you see what it looks like in its original state, and I'm going to slowly start to zoom in with Windows Plus. Okay, and that was a little too big. So let's see what it looks like at 200% with the magnifier. So I'm going to go to the taskbar on the bottom, select the magnifier app on the bottom, and go to the top left-hand corner. And this is at 400. So if I want to do 200 to kind of make a closer comparison, I'm at 200 here, and this is what it would look like with the magnifier. But notice now, it's easier to navigate at 200 or definitely 300. If I go to 300, it's easier to navigate at 300 with the magnifier on versus with scaling. But I don't know about you, Dave. Which one renders better on the screen? Do you think scaling does, or do you think full screen does?
It's appeared to me that scaling maybe has better resolution, but then you get the text wrapping over itself. Whereas with magnification, functionally it works better for someone like me, especially if you have a field of vision issue. I think the magnification works better that way. But it's all in how personal preference works.
Yeah, so with a more limited field of view, you can, but higher acuity, you could look at information at 200x, which this would be, and this would be the magnifier, and this would be fine. So you get a lot of the information, but with a restricted field of view. Now, if your low vision issue is not the field of view issue, it's more the acuity. It's the acuity and the actual need for more enlargement. Then in this context, you could either increase the text of magnification or use a combination of full screen magnification and scaling. So this is at 200 with the full screen magnification. But if I wanted to scale it, so I'm going to scale it here. And now I've scaled it a bit, and I'm using a combination of scaling and magnification. And this would work for some folks who need more enlargement, but they don't want to lose more real estate. And that's when it's helpful to scale. So you're only making the body of the web page larger, but not the taskbar or the toolbar larger. That's when it could be advantageous to scale. I'm going to segue real quick into this, and then we're going to go into color themes. There's a play button here. If you want to read information, you could just hit the play button. That's on the magnifier toolbar. I won't demo it, but this is one of the screen readers here. It just popped up, so I figured I'd talk about it. And then we're going to get into color themes.
And just before that, as we wrap up the magnification and scaling, magnification is Windows plus and minus keys, and scaling is Control plus and minus keys. Or you can scale with Control in the wheel on the mouse.
Color themes.
Okay, now we're going to go over adjustments to the visual effects related to color settings, mouse settings and such. And that's located under accessibility under the settings on the Windows computer. To get there, you can hit the Windows key and type accessibility, hit enter, and this should get you there. Now, one of the key criteria, of course, is color. Most people with visual impairments tend to need contrast themes on their color. So, meaning in that case, inverting the colors with a black background and lighter colored letters, usually white, but you can also have bright yellow and other colors that are mixed in there, lighter blues, etc.
So just real quick, Dave, I took us to, like you said, go to accessibility. I had to tap on the previous accessibility on the top left to get us to the main page of accessibility. And this is what the main page of accessibility looks like. You have accessibility as your main heading on the top, and then you're going to go down to, is it color themes, Dave? It is
contrast themes, I'm sorry.
Contrast, yeah.
So if you go to contrast themes and you open that, you'll have a number of contrast themes to select from. There's night sky, there's aquatic, there's desert, and the other one is dusk. So dusk is sort of a gray background. Night sky is more of a dark black background, and aquatic is somewhere in between those. And then you have something called desert, which is a different white background. Some people have macular degeneration, can use a white background, but most people with various visual conditions tend to use some of these others that have the darker background with the lighter letters on it. So we're going to choose night sky. And you.
Give me 1 sec. Oh, okay, that's right. So we're going to go here to the bottom right because the boxes do not work. When I click them, they don't select it. So you got to go to the bottom right.
Yeah,
here, and then we can select night sky.
night sky.
And then you have to hit apply here.
You have to hit apply. Now, there are some edits you can do on this if you go back into night sky. I guess our magnification changed.
So for night sky, this is what it would look like. Our let's go to the background for the desktop would change as well. So if I hit Windows D, I can show the desktop view. Okay. And that's how our desktop would look like. If I go back to the settings. This is our settings. Let's see, Windows tab. Take us to settings. So we're back on our settings. And what did you want to show, Dave?
Now, another thing we can do, there's apply, edit. If we select edit, we can go into finer adjustments on night sky if we want. You find that?
Okay, yep. Edit is to the right of apply. So I hit edit.
Okay, and you can go through finer adjustments under edit. So we have a background. You can make a change to that. We're not going to do all these, but I'm just letting you know it's there. You can change your text coloring. You can change your other colorings, your
There's button text.
button text and so on and so forth. You can go through all kinds of selections and make adjustments if you want on this.
Cancel to get out of that.
So cancel.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some of the things you can do with color, and that's one of the important things you want to do. Now, other finer adjustments, if we go to the left side of our menu under accessibility.
I'm gonna hit the accessibility button at the top to take us back to the main page of accessibility. Then I'll go to the left, like you were saying. And what do you want me to select?
And on the right side, you'll see under accessibility.
Yep.
A whole bunch of other settings that you can make to help with the visual effects. There's the mouse pointer. So let's go to the mouse pointer.
Mouse settings.
And you can select a larger mouse pointer. The far right, I think, has a yellow on black big one, for example. That's your, you can also below adjust the colors on the pointer. So if you like mustard yellow over banana yellow or blue or whatever color you like that works better for you, you select it. And I believe at the bottom it should say apply. I'm not sure.
Oh, it does it automatically.
It does it automatically. Okay.
Yeah, these aren't dummy windows like the previous one.
All right, so we back out of this. So there's your mouse pointers you can change. I believe we have text cursor under there.
So you wanted me to go back to the previous text cursor?
Text, yep, there you go. Text cursor. So there's some interesting things you can do with the text cursor. You can change the width of it. You've got the size, so you can make it a little wider. You can change the color of it. You can also, I don't know where it is, so you can see the color settings. You can make your text cursor. That's basically the vertical bar you have. The one I like too is I add balloons. I forget where that setting is. So the text cursor will have balloons on the top and bottom of the vertical line. So I actually don't even change the thickness or the size of the cursor. I just put the balloons on it. That makes me helps me to see it. And you can set your balloon colors. You can find them. Did you find them?
Not sure where that application is.
That's okay, but it's in there.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to accessibility.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, so
Oh, it
what's
might be under text cursor indicator. Let's see.
oh, that could be it, yeah.
Let's just see real quick if
Oh,
I
there's text cursor thickness, yeah.
okay. Well, I don't see it, but if that's a place for
It's
it,
buried in there somewhere.
yeah, it's in there somewhere. All right, so let's
So
go
if you
back
can
to-
look for it,
So I went back to accessibility.
all right. So it's just some other things here called visual effects, which you can add visual effects to your cursor.
In text cursor. Okay, got it. So I'm
No,
back-
this is under that level you're at right now.
okay, got it. So I got text size, visual effects.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
So, and there's some interesting things in here that can be experimented with if you think they'll be helpful. What do we have here? So at the bottom there is related settings, but a little bit further up, there's a few.
Okay, so we have always show scrollers, transparency effects. Okay, it says animate.
Animation effects, yeah.
Okay, dismiss notifications after this amount of time. And then it says related settings display.
So there's some display settings you can get into.
Yep, monitor,
Most-
brightness, night light, display profile.
Yeah. So you can go into changing brightness and such. You can also go into brightness on the system tray, which is the lower right of the taskbar. You don't have to go here to do that, but it's in here as well. Let's see what else. After visual effects, the mouse, the text cursor. What do we have down here? Of course, magnifier we've already colored. There's some color filters you can play around with. That's if it helps people and they have some color filter themes. So there are additional themes that related to color filters. And you can read them and see what they are. I think there's some combination of reds, greens, blues. I think you went past it.
Oh, do you want me to go back?
Where was it? That's okay. Just know that they're there. And they can be tried.
Okay, I'm just gonna go back to personalization and change my theme back from the high contrast theme to the previous theme I had. So I think it's this one here. I selected that and it's gonna change it back. All right.
Also keep in mind there's regular color themes that are not high contrast themes.
But they have good contrast.
Yeah, some of them do.
The one I chose is a blue and it has pretty good contrast. You can see the taskbar there. It's a darker theme. This is how the desktop would appear. So it's a good, blue background contrast with an actual image that renders pretty good and it gives you a decent contrast. Okay.
So that's most of the visual changes you can make to the Windows operating system to improve how somebody could use it with, we call it with visual impairment.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
For more information, contact Jerry Feliz, Access Technology Director, phone number 857-443-6636, email jfeliz@mapcommunity.org. Thank you so much for watching.